Richard O'Hare was born to Gordon O'Hare and Betty O'Hare in 1961 in Coburg Hospital, and spent the first few years of his life living in Porto. How old were you when you first moved to Marmora?
Just turned 6.
And how many siblings did you have?
I had 5.
Were they a lot older than you?
Yep. Well, 5 years.
Did you have chores around the house when you were younger?
Had all kinds of chores.
What kind?
Well, run the farm. When I was little, really small, the chores weren't as bad. By the time I was 11 or 12 years old, I was looking after 20 head of cattle, 150 chickens, ducks, geese, and pigs. So I had lots of chores.
And you were responsible for feeding them?
Yes. Responsible for cleaning out the pens, responsible for everything else too.
Did you have any free time when you were younger?
Back then there was nothing on TV, so you used to run across the beams and play on the beams and stuff when we were kids, jumping hay.
Did you ever hang out with other kids around town?
I didn't live in town.
And other kids from school?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. Seeing the nearest kid was a mile away. I had horses to ride all the time. Rode all through the woods, all over the place. Used to ride the horse back in the woods, go fishing back at the river. Then I got into motorcycles. I had motorcycles all over. Between cutting, raking, bale, and hay, I was out touring around with motorcycles. I actually had a lot of fun. Never used to come to town, so.
Just spend majority of your time in the backwoods?
Basically, yeah. And once you get into motorcycles and horses, I used to go down to the neighbors, right? Then you didn't have to walk that far all the time, so. And we'd ride horses together, motorcycles, a whole bunch of us.
So you did eventually start hanging out with kids from...
Yes, yes. When I was younger, I didn't, but when I got older, yeah.
So like when you were like 10?
Yeah, 10, 11. We'd a whole bunch of us get together from, say 3-mile radius. We'd play hockey and stuff like that. In the wintertime on ponds and stuff.
Did you attend school normally while you were on the farm?
Yes, I went to school.
Where was that?
No. I didn't go to kindergarten. I went to school in grade 1 till 6.
And where was that?
DeLauro.
How many kids were in your class?
The whole school had 38 students. I'm just guessing, but I think about 38, 40 of us.
And the entire school?
Yes, 2 classes. Kindergarten to grade 8. Honestly, I wasn't in there a lot because I was sick that year. So when that school shut down, they passed everybody no matter what. I went to Sacred Heart School in grade 2.
Why were you sick that year?
Because my appendix kept screwing up.
What was happening with it?
Well, I don't know, so they finally took them out and then they couldn't find them.
They couldn't find your appendix?
No. They broke loose instead of bursting and went up underneath my ribcage.
And then you went to the Catholic school?
Yep. And I failed grade 2 because I missed half grade 1. Everything but math. I was always great ahead of myself in math.
So math was just something you excelled in then?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any pets while you were growing up?
Lots. Where do you want me to start?
Your favorite?
Favorite was my horse.
What type of horse on?
Oh, he was just mainly nothing fancy or nothing, like quarter horse. Name was Chestnut. I called him Hester.
What's a quarter horse? What's a quarter horse?
A riding horse.
Oh, okay. And where'd you go to high school?
Went to Madoc.
For how long?
Almost a year and a half.
And then you left?
I got evacuated.
And when did you get your first job?
Right after that. Well, no. Actually, I waited a month or 2. Then I got a job after that.
Did you have any jobs before high school?
Yes, I used to cut and rake bale hay. Used to all kinds of stuff for other people. A lot of custom work.
What does custom work mean?
It means I used to cut, rake, and bale hay for my dad for other people. I'd take his equipment and go cut, rake, and bale hay.
And did you get paid for any of that?
Yes.
Okay.
$2 an hour.
Did any major events happen in your life around the time that you left school?
Yes. My brother Bill got in an accident just on the outskirts of town, and I happened to be there on his motorcycle at the baseball diamond, and heard screeching tires and looked over, and there some smokes back end of a 5-ton truck. I run up there and I dragged him out of the car because it was on fire. And his face was demolished because he pushed the wheels to about 2 feet ahead. Pulled him out of the car because it was on fire, laid him on the ground, and run up to the doctor's office. And they weren't there, which I found out after I punched the window out. And I come back, and that's when my brothers and that found out it was Bill, because they couldn't even recognize him. And then the fire department proceeded, because I was covered in blood, they thought I was in the accident, took me down to the river, washed me out.
They thought it'd be a good idea to take you down to the river and wash you off if you were in a car accident?
I was covered in blood. Everywhere. So, but they knew it wasn't in the accident because I was running back and forth.
Okay.
My brother Bill did survive, even though they said he wouldn't.
So after that, what did you proceed to do after you were done with school?
Stayed on the farm for a little bit, then went to the city to go work.
What did you do for work in the city?
The first job I had was at Gypsum. Can't even remember the name of it, but they made drywall. Mud. That's what they did.
And that's what you did when you were 15, just after you had left the school?
Hey?
Where you were 15?
Yeah. But not sooner. But I was 15, so I went through a few jobs really quick.
What did you have to do after that?
Well, honestly, I worked at a bunch of different jobs till I was about 16, or not even 16, and I got a job at the Guy Chart in Pickering, which was a really good job. But then I decided to move out to Alberta.
When did you meet your first wife?
Let me see, I was 13 or 14.
So you met her in school?
No, I met her in town.
How old was she?
Sorry. I think I was 14 or 15. She was a year or two younger than me.
So she was 13?
Probably. I would have been 15, yeah. But no. Yeah, somewhere around there.
And how old were you when you guys first got together?
About that age. If you want to know the truth, we went out west together.
So she was 14 and she was 15 and you were 16 going out to Alberta together?
Yeah.
Why did both of y'all head out to Alberta?
Because their family went too, and I had to pay for half of that.
Why'd you have to pay for half?
Animal paid for half, I paid for half. We paid for them to get out there. Because that's where they were from. Her whole family.
So they were going back home and you went with them?
Yeah, because we thought it was fun.
And
Young and stupid. I went out there with absolutely nothing. And I got out there, and that's how I raised myself.
So you were out in Alberta by yourself at 16?
Yep.
What did you do for work?
At first, it was a pain in the butt, and then after a month or so, I got a job at a printing press making newspaper, which actually I should have stayed at because I would be making a fortune now, or retired. But I did that for about a year or so, and I was getting pretty good at that. And then I was stupid enough to go to work at the oil rigs. make lots of money, have a lot of fun, and have nothing left.
How did you like working at the oil rigs?
Actually, I loved it. I really did. It's outside all the time, plus I was working at heights and I was doing stuff. I really liked it.
So you enjoyed being high up, doing all the physical labor?
Pardon that?
You enjoyed being high up, doing physical labor?
High up or down on the ground, I enjoyed it all, the whole aspect of it. And when things blew up, people got scared, I'd just stand there.
How old were you when you and your first wife got married?
Let me think. I was 21. I think I was 21. Yeah. The year my daughter was get born. Yeah, I wasn't even planning on getting married, but boom, 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 bang, my daughter's my name.
And she was 21 when you were 21 when she was born as well?
I think so.
And you moved back to Ontario when you were 22?
No, I didn't move back to Ontario until I was 23, I think.
So when did you and your first wife separate?
Oh, a year before.
After heading back towards Marmora after his divorce, Rick would move back into the family house paying a rent while helping out around the farm and looking for work once again. Eventually, Rick, through his brother Michael, found a temporary position working for a road crew with the company that would eventually be known as Coco Paving in Belleville. This temporary job would inevitably be where Rick would spend the rest of his career, coming up on 40 years of employment with the company. One day, Rick would be introduced to his future wife through a mutual friend, and in 1996, Rick would join Pamela's family of 3 with her daughter Kristen and her son Paul. In the year of 1998, they would give birth to their first and only child, me. However, 4 years later in 2002, at the age of 46, another child was brought into Rick's life in the form of a grandchild. However, due to familial circumstances, he was adopted into the household by Rick and Pam, and they raised him as their own child. After this, however, Rick would spend the next 20 years of his life raising 2 more children and working in a typical routine. However, after all this time, ultimately, do you feel a sense of fulfillment within your life?
Actually, I do. And life's been pretty good to me, honestly. So I can't complain. And kids are okay, so what the hell.
And that's a brief snapshot of my dad's life, so I want to thank you for watching and have a good day.